All right. I guess it's 5:30, and I'll call this meeting to order. So we'll start out with roll call for attendance.
Greg?
Present.
Donna? Here. Jake?
Present.
Chamberlain? Here. And Bill?
Here.
All right, so we have the minutes to accept for October 21st to 24th. There was no meeting, October 21st, 2024. There was no meeting in November. There were some changes, topographical changes made. Nothing material was changed in the minutes that you received in your packets. So I just need a motion for approval of those minutes.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. We do a roll call?
Greg?
Yes.
Donna? Yes. Jake?
Yes.
Chamberlain? Yes. Bill?
Here.
The next item is the financials for October 22nd to December 12th. Since they didn't have a meeting in November, we looked at those. I think we've had, my questions were answered as to what was on there, and we're going to get a better understanding. So,
Okay. Now, that's the bills and stuff we're talking about.
that is correct, yes. So, all right, so we have,
I'll make a motion.
very good.
Second.
So I have a motion by Bill, a second by Chamberlain.
Greg?
Yes.
Donna? Yes. Jake?
Yes.
Chamberlain? Yes. Bill?
Here.
Excuse me, gosh.
All right. So typically the previous mayor did her, I guess, report at the end of the meeting. I'm going to do mine at the beginning and then give you guys an opportunity to speak as well. So first thing I want to address is up on the hill behind us, we've got the star back on this past week, and I'm very appreciative to Tri-State EMC for their continued support of the community. They also helped get the lights on the tree out front, and so I'm thankful to them for that. We also had some volunteers that came up and did some labor for us. Also some folks that paid for labor. Had some people that donated to pay for the lighting. So everything, there were some electrical issues that had taken place, so those should have been corrected now. And I think it's maybe will endure. So I've requested that it be on through the Epiphany through the 6th of January and then come off hopefully around that date and not stay on in perpetuity as it has in previous years. So thank you, Tri-State, for that. Then also the parade was, I guess, the 7th or so, and I heard it was very, a big turnout for the parade. There was some cleanup that needed to be done afterward. Barry, our maintenance supervisor, recognized that rain was coming in and took the initiative to get everybody together on Sunday. And so we went down and got the streets clean before the rain came and the candy got washed in. Some of it still got into the drains just from it being thrown into the streets, but there was a huge mess down there and that was cleaned up. And I want to thank Alderman Martin for coming and assisting with that. So that was very helpful. Thank you. Also, we had a TDEC inspection of the water system this past week. And was that an annual or semi? That was our annual inspection. Okay. And it seemingly went well. There was one concern that I'm going to speak on here, and basically out front here, if you notice, there's a fire hydrant and it has like this odd extension on it, and that's a meter. And previously I've questioned what that was for. We have sold water to commercial entities. That was questioned by TDEC while we were doing that, And I'd also questioned that. So the concern from TDEC was that it is causing us to use quite a bit of water. Our capacity, if it gets to a certain level, thinking 80%, is that correct? Then we would be required to build an additional holding tank. So taking TDEC's recommendation, we are going to cease selling commercial water out of that hydrant. Ask that those that utilize that to be notified. I think not a lot do it in the wintertime. We still have to do the jetting of the sewer systems, so those that are jetting the sewer systems will still take the water out of there because that's for our use. And the jetting is helping flush all that grease. That's an ongoing issue that's going to be addressed as well through that fog ordinance that was passed. So hopefully that will be resolved and we won't be using as much water as we have in the past.
Well, I'm not sure.
Yes, sir. It's not your time to speak just yet. Okay, thank you. So moving along, building from that, we're going to put a lock on that hydrant out there. There are, so from that piece of it, we discovered some remote hydrants that are possible issues where people are taking water as well. So Todd went out and has found some additional locks, and we're going to purchase those, and we're going to lock down as many hydrants that we have remotely as we can to prevent our water being taken, and hope that the locks should save us some money.
They're in the office.
They're here already?
They're
Okay,
delivered, yeah.
perfect, so they have been delivered. All right. So there's, and then I'd ask, we were not making a lot of money off those commercial sales. There was zero benefit to the city other than the fact that we were selling water, but the long term is not going to offset the short term. So that covers that piece of it. As far as the we've talked about, and everybody knows that we're really tight on workers, and we don't have a lot of folks to do all the things that need to be done. And I just want to note that the maintenance issues, we realize there's a lot to do. We're trying to work through those. We're trying to manage time better. But at the end of the day, these guys are getting called out endlessly. Our maintenance guys are spending a lot of time on water and sewer issues. Just yesterday, Todd, Barry, Jamie, and Sean all were doing water projects all day long, literally into the night last night. Jamie was still working and getting called to do multiple projects to fix. So I just want to mention that we really have a shortage of staff. And these guys, although I know there's been a lot of criticism in the past, they really are working a lot, and I'm seeing that a lot of their nights are spent working on water and sewer issues. Then we have 2 days that we do garbage. So I'm looking at that. I'm gonna try to get us the best management plan as we can going forward, and hopefully do a better job going forward. But these water issues have to be addressed immediately when they happen. Earlier we discussed the Officials Academy, doing municipal foundations. That is, again, January 21st through the 23rd, 5:30 to 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And that will be virtual, and we have sign-up information that Shannon or I will get to you. Mm-hmm. And hopefully to your new email addresses, because we are working to get the city's website online, and you'll have .gov email addresses going forward that you will use. I want to remind you that those email addresses are for city purposes, and they are subject to review from anyone outside that would you know, that would subpoena us, or, you know, the press, if there's something that they, typically, if I send an email out to the four of you, the press is going to be copied as well, so just know that. But I think that'll be a good thing. The website is anticipated to be live in January. That's the goal. We keep pushing it back, but we're trying to get it as much information in there as we possibly can. And so I'm excited about getting this online. So I'll address the ongoing leaks. There's also a tree that was also mentioned at multiple meetings in the prior. That tree has now been located, and it is between power lines, so we decided it is not safe for the city to take it down. So Tri-State has looked at it and has it on their list to take down as soon as they can get to it. And it has been marked. It's at the bottom of where Second and Third come down, and Colonial there. So we are excited to get that tree down. Let's see. And also I want to mention, if anybody has street lights in their neighborhoods that are out, I'm going to go through and look, but if you have an immediate need and know, get the power pole number, shoot me an email, send me a text, and let me know where that is, and with the number, take a photo of it. And if not, I'm going to ride the city after dark when it's a little warmer. And actually, I think it's warm enough now, but there's one down the street from me, so please let me know those. And going forward, once we get the website up and going, there'll be actually a mailbox to send that type of information to, once we get everybody used to it. But I know not everybody does that. Let's see, website. And also, as we mentioned, we'll have a budget workshop. We've determined it's going to be January 6th at 5:30 p.m. here, and it's just a workshop. It's not as formal as this. We can, it's an interactive session. It's for us to learn. So I'm looking forward to that. And that concludes my report. So we'll go into the report for the Board of Aldermen, and Bill had questions, so I'm gonna let Bill go ahead and speak.
Okay, you're talking about the water usage out here at this valve out here. Well, I cut the water down, I mean, the cost of it, more, we're paying almost $15,000 right now on this report.
Well, we turn around and bill that, so we get, it's not like we're just losing the money,
Okay,
but it will bring it down, because the more you sell, the more we gotta pay.
okay. What about on the sewage plant? Do they use fresh water over there? In the sewage?
We purchased from the Hazel.
Yeah, we purchased from the case.
You purchase it over there too?
Yeah, we have water on the case over there.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's all.
All right, very good.
I just wanted to report, I've been doing a little bit of walking around through town and doing some, I've been a part of the events for the last couple of weekends, and I've been checking on trash cans, ashtrays, that kind of thing, trying to see what the streets need. We need a few trash cans in between where the three-way is and at the red light at Ocoee. I mean, right there at Grand. So we're gonna try to see if we can get a couple of trash cans on either side of the street there. Just to, because there are none now. So just someplace for people to put the trash. Let's see what else we can do. Working on that. That's really, I don't know what else I can report on all the things that I've been doing. Just managed to get up a broken bench that was on there, that's on schedule to get up. On the bench that's outside between the Copperhill Brewery and the little Mexican restaurant.
I think it broke.
It did break,
Yeah, okay.
so we're gonna get that up. I seen that today when I walked through town, and things like that, so, I'm gonna try to work with, some of the other owners to get, some of the things out of the sidewalks, the little house on the corner, try to get it pushed back, or I've spoke with Kat, that's hers there at the candle company. She's either gonna get it fixed or remove it, one, she said.
Where's that at now?
Right there at the corner at the freeway where the barber shop is and the candle
Yeah.
company is, that little house that looks like an elf house.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna either, she wants to fix it, but if she can't get it fixed, if it's in too bad of
I started
disrepair.
saying there's one up on the hill, up straight from us, or that's windows out of it, they're laying on the front porch and all that stuff. It needs to be tore down or remodeled.
Okay. So basically that, just been really looking in the streets and trying to see what we can do to make them a little better, keep the sidewalks clean, that kind of thing, make our town pretty. Want to do that, so that's what I've been looking into.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, nothing else? Okay. Tamara, you good? Jake?
I've been coordinating with Copperhill Federal Credit Union regarding a little free library. Greg and I have spoken about that. We're going to possibly place that out in front of the City Hall. I'll be getting that here in the next couple of days. They've got it over there. I've just got to go pick it up. I've also been in touch with MTAS regarding our ordinances on slum clearance, which would address some of what you were talking about, Bill. What we're trying to determine ultimately, and I reached out to Hannah about this, is the way that we're interpreting this is it seems that the board and the mayor are able to assess fines based on violations of ordinances. And if that's the case, then we're going to be able to move forward with having Barry write up code violations, and then we could assess as a board violations. We're seeking to get clarification if that's the case. I've forwarded this to Hannah at MTAS to make sure that we're reading that right. But if it is the case, then we can move forward with that, which would be really nice. That would also probably open us up on the Airbnb situation. I know we have a couple of still unregulated ones that are running in the town, or never applied for permits, or we're not grandfathered in when we did that under the building commission. So we'll be able to maybe check both of those off. If that is untrue, if we're reading this incorrectly, we'll be looking into what's known as an administrative hearing officer, which is essentially a person that can function as a city judge to some regards. It would have to be a licensed person, and there's some specific licensures that you would have to obtain, or someone would have to have obtained in order to do that. But that person would then be able to levy fines, and even heavier fines than we could assess as a city ourselves. We're limited to $50 a day if we assess our fines, whereas this person could assess a $500 a day fine for a very serious violation. So that would help us with situations like Airbnb, also these slum houses that are under disrepair, that landlords are not keeping up. We've got all of this stuff on the books. It's very clear what's defined in the ordinances as to how people have to keep their properties up. And so we're seeking clarification on that. So that's what I've been working on.
Very good. Alrighty.
Can I speak on that?
Sure. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay, what you're saying, it has to be took to Ducktown Law Court.
Well, what we're hoping to find out is if we, as this board, can do it ourselves, and it wouldn't have to be taken.
We tried it, we had to take it to Ducktown Law Court, and for Judge Witt, well, Judge Witt was up there then, just like the house up here.
Right.
It had to go for the Ducktown judge, they give him clearance to tear it down.
Right. Well, this is, at this point, what we're working on is trying to work on the assessment of fines, and then we could probably look into furthering from there and looking into the condemnation after that, if we have structures that need that. But there are some things, the ordinance here that would allow some time, it seems, for people to address the complaints that might result in condemnation. So we would have to issue warnings essentially first, and then kind of go through, there's a process that you would have to go through. But there are some issues. For example, 13207 says when public officer may remove or demolish, if the owner fails to comply with the order as specified above to remove or demolish the structure, the public officer may cause such a structure to be removed and demolished what we're looking to determine is who is the public officer. The way that I've read it is, it seems that that is the mayor. But we're looking to see if that's going to be how MTAS reads it as well. And if we can get clarification, that gives us a lot more power to address these issues that we've got in the city. Well, I want to make sure they sign off on it too.
So more to come on that one. Very good. Thank you for those reports. Appreciate what everybody's doing. And so the next item on the agenda is appointment of vice mayor. So this one, I know there are a lot of interested parties in this position, and I have thought about this, I prayed about this, and I'm going to open the floor up for nominations, and I'm going to initially nominate Jake Roos as vice mayor. And does anyone else have nominations at this point?
I'll second.
And and nominations do not have to have a second, so we can.
Okay.
Any other nominations? No nominations then, other nominations, I will close the floor and we will vote.
Greg,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Tamberlin,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Very good. Congratulations. And second on the agenda is appointment of a beer board chair. Again, I have thought this one through, and I'm going to open up the floor, and I'm going to nominate Tamberlin Tanner for this position.
I'll second.
Very good. And we have other nominations. No other nominations? I assume this is very good. I'm going to close the nominations and we'll vote.
Greg,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Tamberlin,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Moving along, we have the appointment of planning commission member. So I want to explain this one. There was some initial, I guess, some misunderstandings on how this works. Planning commission has 5 members, of which 3 are appointed by the mayor. 2 come from the mayor and board of aldermen, one of which is the mayor. So I will take Kathy's spot on that board, just by virtue of the ordinance. There is an opening from Elizabeth that was on the board. So we have 3 folks now that are on the planning commission that are mayor appointees. Those will remain, and the term is 5 years per the ordinance. We need to revisit that and see when everybody was appointed. So that being said, tonight we need to nominate an individual from this board of aldermen, and place that individual on the planning commission, and that will complete our 5. So I'm going to open up the floor, and I'm going to nominate Donna Martin for that position. And do we have any other nominations? No other
Who are
nominations?
those?
So Bill Dalton,
Okay.
Jeff Thomas, and Jake is an appointee from the prior administration. So that's the other 3. Sorry, I didn't mention. I meant to mention them a second ago, and I lost my train of thought. So if no other nominations, I will close nominations and we'll vote.
Greg,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Tamberlin,
Yes.
Bill.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And so last thing on the agenda from us is discuss workshops. Again, I wanted to set up committees for public safety, infrastructure, beautification, and events. However, our ordinances, our charter does not really outline how to set these up. So rather than really like taken time to work on how to set these up. We can have workshops and discuss these topics, and I feel like that's going to be the most efficient way to get us where we need to be. The meetings will be more informal. We will invite members of the community over to help us with this and to give us information. And because I know we have some really intelligent folks here. We have people that are very concerned about these issues and others. But just to briefly discuss these with public safety, what I plan to do is, we have two pieces to this. We have the police department that everybody, or not everybody, but a good number of folks I talked to when I was going around seeing everybody when I was campaigning, really have concerns about our police department and just the coverage and just how stretched the sheriff's department is. So I want us to really look at a way that we can get better police coverage in Copperhill. The other piece is, how can we assist our volunteer fire department? Can we find grants to get through the city for them? Are there other ways we can help? I know they have a fire engine that they need to sell that's pretty much to the point of scrap. What can we do to help them there? I'd like to sit down with the chief. I have concerns about the fire hydrants. I have concerns about just the routes getting to the houses. I want to make sure that there's a combination to get, if you have to go to a spot up on Prospect, there's a combination to get there. You can't just, the turns, Hill Street, there's some really odd turns. You probably have to come in through Colonial and across. And I want to make sure that they know how to get into the neighborhood. So these are things that I'd like to work on with public safety. And I'd really like to get on that pretty quickly in January if we can. So we need to think of some dates, and we can get together and figure what dates that we can come meet on that. Infrastructure is another piece when it comes. Does anybody have any questions or comments on public safety?
In general, on the workshops, are we open to the idea of people outside of the city of Copperhill taking part in things? And the only reason I'm curious is things such as beautification. We have people that are assisting in things like cleanup. We have a local group that's cleaning up. Or public safety, for example. I think it would probably be very useful to have somebody as a representative from McKaysville, the police department, come in and perhaps be a part of that as well.
Sure, I'm open to that. I prefer that Copperhill, when we can utilize Copperhill residents, that we utilize Copperhill residents. However, I'm never, an advisor or somebody that's an expert on something. I'm not closed off to they coming and guiding us. I wouldn't say no to that if everybody's comfortable with that. It's ultimately it's a collective decision. But if you all are open to that, then we'll invite whoever can come and be part of the audience and whatnot. But if we're going to have active participants, we kind of need to know who's going to be involved at the table. But I want it to be structured, but I want it to be more loose than what these meetings are, if that makes sense. So yes, infrastructure, we all know the needs for infrastructure, and it's more going to be coming down to what grants can we get, or folks that we can bring in to help us, or I'm shaking bushes now trying to see what we can, who can help us fill in some potholes, and I know Tamerlan doesn't. we know where Tamerlan lives.
Pothole City.
I'm sorry. We're working on it. Then beautification. If anybody knows me, I like to work outside a lot, so I want to see as many flowers absolutely as we can get stuff into this city this summer, wherever we can get them. I have plans for the ballpark. I want to see more activity there, and see what kind of ideas we can come up with developing the ballpark. I'd love to see a deck like they have up at the Toccoa and Kaysville Park. You can go up there and fish, but if you're a Tennessee resident, you really can't go. You can go up there, but it's quite pricey to get Georgia fishing license out of state if you're a Tennessee resident. So I'd love to have a place for Tennessee residents to come and be able just to fish off, especially if you've got some type of disability or whatever, and you want to take your kids, you could at least access a deck there. So that would be a long-term dream of mine, have a deck there for folks. Also, a takeout, just similar to what they have up at Toccoa. It'd be great to have folks tubing through town or whatever, and have a takeout at the ballpark. If you're just in your kayaks or whatever. So those are some ideas I have, and I'd like to see more things planted there. Farmers markets, we can talk about, and that takes us into events. And I think Tamerlane is very interested in events, and I want to hear what ideas she has. And I think having workshops is going to be beneficial for us. So, do y'all have any comments on any of that?
Yeah, I agree totally. I think we all want to see the ballpark definitely used as
Yeah.
much as we can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
walking path would be great.
Anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that place has so many uses. So.
And I think there are, just like with the Star. I mean, it's amazing. It's really humbling to the number of people that we have that want to help this city and want to see us move forward. So, that being said, do we have any comments from the public?
I have one question.
Sure.
I know there's the big thing with the Airbnbs and the grandfathered in thing. My thing is, as someone outside looking in, if someone wanted to come, there's so many abandoned properties in this city. Everywhere you turn, there's some kind of disaster. I just think if someone wanted to buy something and fix it up, I get there's, a lot of people don't like people renting things out, there's noise, I just think that just needs to be reevaluated. So maybe someone can come in, even if it's one at a time, fix it up one at a time. But if people are aware that, oh, well, I can't rent it out, I'm not going to buy there. I just think I could be wrong, but that's how I think about it. I just think it would help. I just think it would help get these houses bought, fixed up, and beautify this town, because there's just so many of them. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. I just, because I've asked that, and I've asked that what is the big deal? But I know there's a big deal. Don't get me wrong. I know there's a big deal about, because you get rowdy renters, you get but having something that looks like that one down there versus a little noise, and income coming in, people spending money in the town, which one outweighs the other? That's how I look at it. So I was just hoping that y'all can just think about all that again to,
Anybody else?
I'm willing to help out in anything I can do. I'm a graphic designer and a photographer, so I can help with advertising and events and all that stuff if anybody needs it.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Very good. If nothing else, then we'll we have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Are you, roll call?
Greg,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Chamberlain.
Yes.
And Bill.
Yes.
Y'all gotta give me a minute to get used to the new names.
You got those down pat,
I got the other ones down. Well, no, because I got C1 and CL instead of constantly.
What's the big deal?
Well, you stole my whole thing about the tree. I was
I
gonna
know
bring
it's
that
a
up.
big deal.
No, that was gonna be my new thing.
Get a sign after you, Jake.